Okay, welcome to part 4 of the bC8 demo and sort of possibly even instructional video. Here's a bC8, it's got 3 AA cells in it. I'm going to switch it on, plug in amplifier. In this video I'm going to demonstrate the pattern sequencer and the changing the speed in the pattern sequencer. From the previous videos you may have gathered that this LED indicates the envelope generator mode. There are basically 3 modes. The first mode, which is indicated here, is single shot. So let's just demonstrate that. Put some frequency on there, see if this works. Oh, I need to turn some volume up. Okay, so we turn the volume to 0. This LED then shows, see, in single shot mode and auto repeat, that LED is solid and indicates the volume level. So we turn that on to 0, the volume to 0. You can see we're in single shot. So we press the button once and we go into the auto repeat mode on the okay, and if we press it again, we go into pattern mode. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is let's set up a slightly more interesting sound first of all. So we'll go back to single shot mode. No, actually we'll go back to auto repeat and let's try and set up a slightly more interesting sound. So we'll do that at 0 as auto repeat. Okay, if you remember before, when I press this button when I'm in auto repeat mode, it cancels the envelope. So anyway, so this sound is basically the LFO there modulating the VCO there at a depth determined by here and a rate of determined by that, and it's a sine wave LFO and a sine wave VCO. Okay, that's the sound we'll use. So we set the volume to 0. You can see we're still in auto repeat mode. So we've now gone through to the pattern mode. So it's very, very simple. All we do is turn the volume up and then just tap a pattern away. So I'm just going to tap out something, the first thing that comes into my head, which is probably going to be ridiculous. Now I've added a final note on there. The pattern sequencer ignores that final note and it uses that as the loop point for your tune pattern, whatever you want to call it. So for instance, if you have a pattern that consists of 16 notes, you would actually press this button 17 times, and the 17th note would actually be the repeat point for the whole pattern. Then you just turn the volume to 0 and that's it, and the pattern starts up. And you press the button for less than 3/4 of a second and it'll toggle the pattern to stop, and then you press it again and it'll start the pattern from the beginning. So you could okay. Now if you hold the button down for between 3/4 of a second and 3 seconds, watch this particular LED. Okay, so we'll just start the pattern again. Okay, so you saw the LED there. First of all, went dark for 3/4 of a second. That's the stop-start time. So if you press this button for less than 3/4 of a second, it'll stop and start. Between 3/4 of a second and 3 seconds puts you into the variable speed mode, and if you hold it down for more than 3 seconds, it prepares to re-record the pattern. So let's try that again. Okay, I'll just add a final note on there. So we'll go back to 0. Now, because it memorises this, and this knob, basically all the knobs except the volume, for the pattern, it memorises it once when you press the button down, and then it memorises them again when you release the button, so that you can actually slide the notes, and it calculates it all out in real time. So it's not a good explanation, but you'll have to, I suppose I'll just have to demonstrate it. So I'll start the pattern again. Oh, and you can override whatever setting it is, and then the override, not the override, let's just show you. I'll shut up. Okay, now if I start the pattern again, it goes back to where it was in its memory. So it allows you to make up a tune or a phrase, and then muck around with the knobs as much as you like, and then as soon as you go back and start the pattern again, it remembers, it goes back to the original settings. So if I start the pattern again, we're back to there. Now, because that doesn't sound particularly interesting, let's take the speed up a bit. So we'll leave the volume, let's say the volume's there where we were before. Okay, which is alright. Now, what we do is we can hold this button down. We can do it either while the phrase is playing or without the phrase playing. So let's just do it while the phrase is playing. So I'll hold this button down. So I'll hold this button down for between 3/4 of a second and 3 seconds. The LED will turn off, then it will turn on, and then I'm going to release it when it's in that on phase. Okay, here goes. Okay, now that's variable speed. And we can always go back to, we can always stop it and then go back to the original sound samples. They're not that interesting now.